Hey, welcome to the shit show. I'm tired, I'm sick, I'm a couple of drinks in, so I'm in the perfect mood to talk about some music. Before we go into my favorite albums of the year, let's do a roundup of shit that I haven't talked about yet. Bex Colors is a grown man trying to party instead of getting his AARP check. St. Vinny's Mass Seduction has a lot of fun energy, sprinkled with a few slow moments, but it doesn't feel that amazing or consistently strong overall for me. I think the last two tracks here are wonderful, and though I've grown out of her for a while, I'm excited to hear what Annie does next. Wizard Bloody Wizard by Electric Wizard is the equivalent of your dad trying to be hip with your friends by smoking the marijuana without realizing that it's probably stronger now since his heyday, so he starts coughing and wheezing non-stop. Evil Feast, Elegies of the Stellar Wind. Evil Feast is one of my favorite black metal musicians out there, boasting an incredibly strong and consistent discography. Elegies is definitely up there with one of my favorite albums from him. Wonderful synth keyboard ambient music, sweeping in the background, and great atmospheric guitar melodies and riffs. This is one of my favorites of 2017. Foreshadowing! Foreshadowing! Can we stop with this pussy ambient black metal bullshit? I don't really care for Converge that much. With that being said, this is their second best below Jane Doe. Clouds Taste Satanic, The Glitter of Infinite Hell. All this is a jammy doom metal album, and honestly it's something that I needed, and other people might need if you just want to listen to safe, instrumental doom music. Brian Eno and Kevin Shields, Only Once Away, My Son. It's really cool if you've never listened to Zwaveton by Love Lies Crushing. Bell Witch, Mirror Reaper. I once said at one point it was my lock for my #1 album of the year, but at this point, though still up there, foreshadowing, it's dwindled off for me. It brings what I expect from any funeral doom album, which is heaviness and melancholy, and that, that's always welcome. It's not my favorite Bell Witch album by any means, but it's still a good enough album. People who dismiss it and say, oh, it's just the Sunbather of funeral doom. Those fucking assholes, they're too invested in the shitty-ass cesspit of internet music hipster culture, and they need to just listen to fucking music based on their own merit. Do what I've been doing for the past 2 years now. Ignore music publications, shitty music sites, and these annoying fucking music vloggers, including me. Stop watching my shitty videos, and you'll live a happy life. And now let's talk about Dungeon Synth. Uhtred's Sovereign is probably Uhtred's best album. A wonderful piece filled with Uhtred's neoclassical medieval stylings, with tracks both atmospheric and even energetic that feature an actual guitar in some tracks. Whoa, that's rare. If you're looking for something melodic, then this is the album for you. Galder's Wizardry is my go-to pick for the best Dungeon Synth album of the year. Foreshadowing! Galder is one of my favorites within the genre. All it is a huge, epic, ambient music, and this is the type of music that can ease my head and suck me into whatever fantasy escapist world that I can imagine. And now, let's head to the top 5. Number 5, Milo. Who told you to think? Number 4, Bell Witch, Mirror Reaper, because fuck you. Number 3, Galder Wizardry. Number 2, Elegies of the Stellar Wind. And before I go to number 1, here's my honorable mentions. And my number 1 album of the year is, Flotation Toy Warnings, The Machine That Made Us. And I'm gonna come back down for a moment here. I say it like this because you listen to that album and you listen to the rest that 2017 has to offer, and you kinda scoff at it a bit. Let's talk about the number 1 problem, or the number 1 thing that people have to say about this album, and that it sounds like they're stuck in 2004. When they released their first album, every hipster music blogger was losing their minds over how amazing this was. You listen to Bluffer's Guide now, in 2017, and it just feels like your run-of-the-mill cookie-cutter white bread indie bullshit music. It really hasn't aged that amazing compared to what people had to say during that time, because it's 2017, and for a lot of people, everything that's been done under that indie tag feels like it's been done to death. But at the same time, maybe the fact that it does sound like a time capsule of indie's heyday makes it a fond album. It feels warm and fuzzy and nostalgic in a way for me, and even though I was like 8 to 10 years old during that time and I wasn't listening to shit like this, but it's not about your actual memories, rather more the sound that's able to encapture that memory. You know what I mean? Let me talk about one of my favorite albums of all time that I haven't really gotten a chance to talk about on this channel at all. Supercars 3 Out Change. That album is not special by any means when it comes to breaking new ground or sounding completely different from your peers. That album was released in 1998 and I was, what, 2 years old at that point. Despite this, the melodies and hooks of that album mixed in with the warm and fuzzy sound on the songs makes me yearn for my youth. It paints memories that I haven't really experienced as it feels hazy and dreamlike, and the songs tug on my heartstrings. It's a bittersweet feeling that I don't normally feel when listening to music. I feel comfortable, yet I realize that there's some sort of underlying sadness around the corner that I can never reach again. That's the best way I can explain my love for the machine that made us. It's a bittersweet album that makes me dream of the days that I've never had in my life, and yeah, it's not the greatest indie album of 2017. I mean, fuck, you had Mount Eerie, you had the Fleet Foxes, and the lyrics sound like they were stuck between a thesaurus and an old history textbook because, you know, mid-2000s indie gotta one-up the fucking Decemberist and quirky fucking lyrics. But I really haven't listened to any other album as much as this in 2017. And despite its mistakes, the most important thing about it is that it brings me back to a place I don't want to escape from. I'm the loser of 08. I'll see you next year.